Yo, what's going on? How did sports fans? Welcome to another edition to the show. This is Paul Connor along with Austin coming into you once again. This time a little bit different. We have some breaking Bears news. DJ Moore was traded today. Went to the Buffalo Bills along with a fifth round pick in the 2026 draft for a second round pick. Um, I have my own personal thoughts. There might be a little rant that I need to go into, but what are your initial thoughts on the trade, Austin?
All right, first off, hey, how you doing, guys? How's everybody doing? I basically it was a swap for what each team needed. We needed more draft capital. The Bills need a wide receiver one. Uh, I would say it's a pretty fair in the deals. I mean, I was actually genuinely surprised to get a second. I think we had to throw that fifth in there to get it past, say, like a third. But genuinely surprised to get a second round pick back for DJ Moore for him in the fifth. But this is again bittersweet news in terms of like Bears fandom because we got back some really good return investment. But it really sucks to see a guy like DJ Moore, who has been a veteran leader in that locker room and somebody who is genuinely liked by the fans and like genuinely liked by everybody, to see him go. It sucks, but the NFL's business. You got to do what you need to do. Um, the one thing that I do want to point out is in his exit, I think, Instagram post, he
Yeah, I
ended
read
it.
that.
He ended it
Yeah,
by saying, F the Packers always.
yeah,
It,
it'll always be F the Packers. Way to go, DJ. Good job. Good job.
I hope he does well in Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. Um, my initial thoughts are this. I was shocked, just like you, that they got a second when the trade first happened. Adam Schefter reported I think it was going to be a mid-round pick or something like that, and then I was like, oh, okay. My first inclination was I was hoping that they didn't do what they how they did Justin Fields, how they traded Justin Fields to the Steelers because he wanted to go there as opposed to sending him where the best deal was. So that was my hope that they didn't do that. But once I saw that they got a second, I'm sitting there like, okay, because my thought was DJ Moore, his season that he had, if you got a third, I thought you would have been lucky, but I thought maybe a fourth or a fifth. And then when I saw that second, I was like, all right, good job by Ryan Poles on finding a team that was wide receiver needy and gaining another asset in return, but also clearing up some much needed salary cap space. Now, I do believe that I know we talked about this the other day about Drew Dahlman and them going after a center. I do think that the Dahlman retirement kind of escalated some of this because
I would have to agree.
now you have a hole that you have to fill that wasn't there 2 weeks ago or actually a week ago. So that's my thought about this. My other thought is this: I am not under any circumstances is going to complain or get on DJ Moore about his effort. That dude played hurt. He never missed a game. He was out there when the team needed him. Yes, well, were there plays that were a little questionable? I think every football player has plays that are a little bit questionable, but I'm not in position to do that because and I know this is totally different than other, professions. Do I give it my all every single day? Probably not. Probably not. Does everybody give it their all in everything that they do? Probably not. So what are we doing here, people? Like I saw so many people on social media, and social media is such a fucking cesspool. I'm thinking about getting off of it. But the questioning his desire, questioning his effort. I actually listened to a podcast today that was talking about how he shouldn't have been the highest paid Bear. I go, he was on a team in which he had to be the highest paid Bear because the Bears didn't have that many high salaries. And guess what? His $28 million a year is actually on line with some of the other wide receivers are making in the league.
And very well deserved.
And very well deserved.
I
Yeah,
mean, he was through like the real dark days of like the Bears offense.
yeah,
It was him and Justin Fields were that offense for what, 2 years?
yeah. He was here for Justin Fields' the last year of Justin Fields. Now, could it be he was angry because he's because Justin was his guy? Look, that's always going to happen. That's the business side of football, right? But for some reason, him and Caleb never had a chance to, you know, develop that relationship on the field. Off the field, it could have been cool, but on the field, they had some issues. Plus the fact that the Bears had more weapons.
And let's just take this into consideration too. DJ Moore will forever be remembered for two very spectacular plays against our most hated rival.
Yes, yes. So for me, I'm not going to sit up here and condemn DJ Moore. He will go down as probably in my top five of Chicago Bears wide receivers. There,
Yeah.
he's probably second best. There's
Ooh, that could be a conversation.
Brandon Marshall's number one.
Okay.
Brandon Marshall's number one. I have DJ two, Alshon Jeffrey three, and then if you want to go Marcus Robinson and Allen Robinson, you could throw those guys in there too as the top five.
Evan Aroma Shadu.
Want to hear a funny story about that?
Huh.
My brother, love him to death, loved Devin Aroma should do so much that he drafted him in fantasy football in the first round.
Oh, buddy. Oh, you probably could have waited at least another 10 and
Yes,
taken him.
yes. He
Oh,
sent me
no.
he sent me his fantasy team, and that was the first thing I asked him. Like, why the fuck did you draft Devin Aroma should do?
Oh, oh, that's funny. I don't know. That was
Needless to
just the first.
say, needless to say, he finished dead last in that league,
I would have to assume so.
and I don't think he was asked to come back.
Well, sorry, but fair.
Now, regarding the DJ Moore trade, like I said, I felt like this was all this was all sped up because of the whole field at center. Now, what does this mean moving forward? I do think that with the money that they saved, it depends on what you read. I've heard or read anywhere the Bears saved anywhere between 12 and 16.5 million dollars, depending on what you read, along with the cap savings with the Tremaine Edmunds release, along with Drew Dahlman's retirement. The Bears could have anywhere up to about, at least right now, 35, $40 million. That tells me that they're probably going to go and try and get um, um, Linenbaum, Linenbaum from Baltimore. That's that's my thought. I don't think they could do both. Get him and Max Crosby.
No, I don't think they could do that either.
I don't think they could do both because considering the fact that Danielle Hunter just got a contract extension, 1 year, 40 million with over 30 guaranteed
With Houston, yeah.
at Houston. Yeah, Max Crosby, if he gets traded anywhere, is going to want to restructure to redo his deal.
Now, I now look, I wouldn't be mad if they went and got Tyler Lindenbaum, hell of a center, all pro, Pro Bowl, just absolute beast in the trenches. Probably one of the top five centers in the league right now,
Mm-hmm.
if not top three. But there's still a part of me that really, maybe they go for like a Connor McGovern, you know, tier
And
below.
honestly, that could be the case. McGovern's pretty good. The other Tyler that we talked about was pretty good. They could do that. My only thing is, we talked about this before. They got so many other needs that you're going to need, and I hate to use this term, cheap labor, because you got guys that's going to be coming up, and there's only so many times that you can kick the can down the road with some of these restructurings that eventually you're going to have to pay the piper, along with the fact that, and I keep trying to tell folks this and they don't want to listen to me, Caleb Williams is going to look to get paid.
And with
Whatever,
how last year went, depending on how the next year goes, it could be it could be a substantial amount of money.
whatever Dak got, that's what that's what Caleb will probably get and more.
Like I said, I think it really just depends on how he plays next year. If he has similar to this season, I think he will get that. But if he goes out and say does crack 4,000, is in legitimate MVP conversations, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he's going to command a lot more.
Well, he's going to be favorite, well, at least one of the favorites going into next season.
And honestly, rightfully so. But I am only 25 years old. I'll be 26 here in a couple of weeks. But I have watched more Bears quarterbacks than I have been aged in my life. So,
I've seen some bad ones.
I mean,
I've seen bad ones.
and I've seen bad contracts. I mean, does anybody remember Mike Glennon? Ugh, ugh, that was
I
a
don't
terrible
I don't
contract.
want to remember Mike Lennon.
That was that was stricken from the memory.
Yeah,
But
you're too young to remember Moses Moreno. You're too young to remember Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Todd Collins,
hell, I barely remember
Katie McNown,
Sexy Rex. I remember Cade McNown. I remember
Rex
Cade McNown.
Grossman,
I'm barely old enough to remember Sexy Rexy and Kyle Orton.
Chad Hutchinson,
Um, oof. Well,
Cordell
let's
Stewart.
let's stop being depressed. But he's going to command a lot of money. Um, I just when I was sitting here thinking the holes that the Bears have aren't many, I would say, if
Well,
we really sat down and thought about it.
I mean, let's think of it this way. You need a left tackle. They may not be many, but they're huge, right? You need a left tackle. You need a safety. You need a center. You need a pass rusher, linebacker. That's five.
This is true. I have a feeling that they're going to go safety in the draft.
Oh, I mean, they are. I mean, whatever mock draft that I've seen, um, especially within the second round, they picked up a safety. Um, what I do like is with having his second round pick is that you can use it in a deal to move up in the draft, use it to take whatever player that you want, do what they normally done in the past to where they move back and gave more capital. Or if you want to go out and get Max Crosby, you can have your first and your lesser of the 2 seconds to get him,
And you're still coming pretty with a second still.
and you're still coming pretty with the second. So, you can always do that. One of the things that I will always remember DJ Moore for, besides his on-field stuff, is the fact that he will be part of two of the probably the most transformational things that happened to this franchise within the past 5 years.
I Yeah. Well, I would say this century.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the original trade when the Bears traded from number one to Carolina to get, the number nine DJ Moore, and then Carolina's first round pick the following year and a second round pick. Yeah, yeah,
And let's talk about what those picks turned into.
yeah.
We got Darnell Wright
hmm
going to be an all pro tackle.
he was all pro this year, second team.
Second team all pro.
hmm
Yes. You have Tyreek Stevenson, who may not have been exactly what you wanted all the time, but the guy works hard and is actually trying to better himself in coverage and, pay attention to the field and not to the fans. Um, the next year we got Caleb, number one, someone who completely changed the franchise the second we drafted him. And also, who
Luther
was it?
Burden,
It was Luther Burden.
Luther Burden.
Luther Burden, who now is in competition for that number one receiver spot with Rome Odunze.
I can make the argument that the number one target on this team or the number one wide receiver is not a
Is
wide
Colston
receiver.
Loveland. It's
Exactly.
Colston Loveland.
Exactly.
It, but that number one wide receiver, he's in competition with DJ Moore getting out of the building.
Well, Roman Duze better step up because he's also playing for a new contract in a couple years too. The same time as Caleb.
And you know what? Last year started off hot, absolutely cooled down. Let's see if he can just keep it going. I think a lot of that does have to do with that injury that took him out for the last 6 weeks. But he is still a really good talent. There's a lot of promise and potential there. It's just now you're giving these two guys the keys. You
Yeah,
also have Colson Loveland and you have Cole Kmet as well. Still,
I think they'll use a lot of Colston Loveland in the slot, kind of similar to what Ben Johnson did with, um, his
Sam
tight end
Laporta.
Sam Laporta in Detroit. So you'll see a lot of that where he's matching up against linebackers and safeties. So you'll definitely see that. But I do think that the Bears are going to have to go out and get a veteran. I don't know who that veteran is. I was checking out the free agent wide receivers. Hell, maybe they'll bring Alameda Zaccheaus back along with Devin Duvernay. Maybe they'll bring him back, or you have Jade Walker, who at times showed flashes last year. So maybe they'll do that. I mean, a name that intrigues me, but I think he'll be out of the Bears' price range is probably Debo Samuel.
He was released yesterday or
So
2 days ago, something like that.
I don't think, I think he'll be one of those where he'll just demand too much money. But, if you're looking for a person to fit that DJ role, you know, he can,
Debo would be that guy.
Debo will be that guy.
They have similar play styles. Um, only thing with Debo is just that he's thicker.
Yeah, yeah. And actually DJ Moore is a little bit more durable than him. But,
Yeah.
if you can land him on a cheap deal, then why not? But, that's my thought in terms of moving forward with this team in terms of now they have 35 to 40 million dollars in cap space. What are they going to do with it? And they could probably get up to about 65 million dollars with some restructurings of contracts. But once again, when you're restructuring deals, you're kicking everything down the line. Eventually, you're going to have to start, you're going to start paying for that. And especially if, Caleb Williams is looking to get $600 million in a contract in a couple of years.
I mean, he's probably looking at like 65, 70 a year.
Yeah, I mean Dak's getting 60. I mean, every quarterback who gets paid is going to want to reset the market. I think that's what people need to understand. I don't care who it is. Every quarterback, matter of fact, every every top-notch player is going to want to reset the market. What do you think is going to happen if Max Crosby gets traded? He's going to want to reset the market.
That's what we did with Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Linenbaum is going to reset the center market. But right now, the highest paid one is Creed Humphrey at 18.5 million. They're talking about Linenbaum wanting anywhere between 22 and 23.5 million dollars per year.
Know what team that needs a center like that would shell up that money. I think he'll get probably closer to 21. I think when it's all said and done, I think he'll get closer to 21. But I don't see a team needing an offensive line being able to shell out that amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
But he will still inevitably end up resetting the center market, and then it all falls from there.
No.
Um, it it's going to be quite an interesting offseason because, like you said, we do have a lot of money to play with. It's just what do they see as a priority need now? What do they feel is the most pivotal part of moving forward?
I think see that's the thing. Like for me, I'm probably not signing Lindenbaum. I'm going after uh, the other Tyler as well as McGovern. I'm trying to find a suitable left tackle, whether it's in the draft, maybe with the 25th pick, or may, maybe you bring back Braxton Jones. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know
Now,
if I want to do that.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it. I would understand it, but you're going to need a stopgap there, assuming that you don't draft anybody. A name that intrigued me today. He was released in terms of being a defensive lineman and a person who's played under Dennis Allen before is Cameron Jordan. Um,
So
he, he's 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 35 years, 35 or 36. He's actually, I think, 6 months older than Khalil Mack. But I'm not asking him to come in and play every single down. I want him to come in and rush the passer.
now you said Cleo Mack. He had just said uh, earlier this week, I believe on Monday, that he does plan on playing next season. He would not be one that I would actually be excited if we got Khalil Mack. He will
Yeah,
not be Khalil Mack from 2018. You're not going to you're not going to see him out there expecting to get 15, 16 sacks. He's not that pass rusher anymore. The one excellent thing that he can still do is he can still run protect. Excellent. He is still great getting off a block and going attacking the ball carrier. He's one of the best defensive ends in the league right now still that can rush the passer and stop the run. That is where you'll get the value out of somebody like Khalil Mack.
it's going to come down to money.
It will all come down to
One, for me, for Khalil Mack, 1 year, $10 million. That would be and
sign me
and,
up.
and that would be based off of incentives. Um, for me, um, that's probably the route I probably would go in terms of signing a pass rusher. Maybe Khalil Mack, Cameron Jordan, Bradley Chubb is a guy um, that was released by the Dolphins. Somebody that you know I like that could be on. I'm not going to say on the cheap, but at a reasonable cost.
And is
Um,
much younger than the other two.
and is much younger than the other two. So, those are things that I look at, and mostly because I'm one of those fans that thinks further ahead. I'm like, you got to pay this guy. You got this needs and all this other stuff. Where is this money coming from? Because you got to pay people. In a salary cap league, you got to pay people, and honestly, that's part of the reason why DJ Moore got cut. They looked at what they had and it's like, all right, we can take from DJ because we have Rome, we have Luther Burden, and unfortunately, DJ Moore's production didn't match the contract that he had. But I don't put that all on DJ. I think it's scheme. I think it's the players around him, and plus, let's be realistic. The Bears ran the ball really well the second half of the season. There wasn't really that. I mean,
And
yes, they
that's the reason that no receiver or nobody catching the ball got over 800 yards. Everyone was less than 800 yards.
yeah they
And
they ran the ball well.
and again, the thing that surprised me the most actually at the end of the season was the fact that Colston Loveland led the team in yardage.
He would do that again next
He
year.
will do that
He will
again,
do that again next year.
but it's so surprising because you look at it and Colston Loveland through the first what 4 or so weeks was hardly targeted.
And I was one of those fans that questioned the pick, and I'm like, if you drafted this guy in the top 10, use him.
It was the
And
Cincinnati game that turned it all around.
I will still maintain that the Bears should have lost that game because the safety for the Bengals decided that he wanted to go for a kill shot instead of just wrapping up
And missed.
and missed.
Look,
If he,
we could go back to probably realistically. I know we had 7 come behind wins, but we could look at legitimately 4 to 5 of those games and say we should not have won that game and still did.
well, the Bengals game is the one that I think about the most because the defense played like crap. The offense was really good. Caleb played a really good game, had a really good pass to Loveland, but like I said, a smarter safety wraps up, holds them up. They didn't have a timeout left.
And it was what at that point you get him down, it would have been what 22 seconds left.
Maybe I think he threw the pass at like 22 seconds or something
It was
like
some
that.
it was something like that because I remember he scored with 16 left.
Yeah. So they didn't have a timeout left. They had to get in. You had the fire drill for the field goal. I don't think they would have gotten it off, but you know, there's a lot of football players that don't have really good IQ. I'm not gonna that's the thing. I would never call a football player dumb because for you to learn everything within a football play, I would never call a player dumb. I would just say their IQ from time to time is lacking.
Look, I played football through high school and I played a year in college to actually get to understand and know what to do on a football field. And I just played on the line. I was a D end in college, D end offensive lineman in high school. Probably one of the more simpler um, positions to actually learn, especially defensive end. But there's still so much going on through your head. As soon as that ball is snapped, you're not thinking, you're just reacting.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reaction is just not the right one.
Yeah.
But the one that gets me is Oakland. Funny enough, the team that Max Crosby is on, the Oakland game,
Yeah.
that's a game that I think definitely should not have won. Offense looked like crap all game. Um, your defense was holding up but not playing fantastic, and especially on that last drive, they were able to move that ball down the field, got into field goal range with 3 seconds left, and you just so happened to get a fingertip on the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have seasons like that. Um, which is great. But this is why I kind of think that the Bears are in a situation where, they have to be smart with what they do in terms of how they're spending this money so they can put themselves in a position to win a Super Bowl.
Because if you really want to get a Super Bowl done, like these next 2 years are probably the time to do it.
Yeah,
Like realistically,
because I keep going back to it. You got 2 years before you pay Caleb. 2 years. Next year is the fifth. Next year, you decide if you want to pick up that fifth year option within his fourth year, and then after that, you're going to talk to him about an extension.
and I can almost guarantee you he will not be very excited if he says, "Yeah, well, if they offer him a 5th year option."
No, no. I mean, they'll pick up his fifth year option. I don't think he should play on that. At least right now, he shouldn't play on that. Ask for your extension. I
But
mean,
yeah,
I mean, hell, Trevor Lawrence signed his extension 2 years prior.
which up until last year was still looking like I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's where I think this team is. It like I said, it's unfortunate that um it had to come to this with DJ Moore. I have nothing bad to say about the player. I'm not one of those who got mad that he didn't talk to the media after the game. I'm also one of the people that I don't really care if he does talk to the media, personally. I don't care if any professional player talks to the media. Don't care.
I want one professional player to talk to the media every single time they get the chance. I want Marshawn Lynch to talk to the media because he will make it funny.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong. Um, like I said, I have nothing bad to say about DJ Moore. I hope he does well. Um, he will be Josh Allen's number one wide receiver for what they needed for the past year as a wide receiver. He goes there and you know what? God bless him.
Maybe he helps turn around Keon Coleman.
Hey, that'll be good too. That'll be good too.
Because I'm
I
sorry, every time I think of Bills wide receivers, I think of the Cam Newton clip
mm.
when he was talking about Keon Coleman. You're supposed to be our number one, but you're playing like a bum. Oh my God. One of the funniest things ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, he will be good for that team. I wish him, luck in terms of, except when he plays the Bears.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Wish him
But
luck.
it'll be the same thing, you know. If it's a home game we play in the Buffalo, thank him in the tunnel before the game. As soon as the game starts, you hate him. As soon as the
Hmm.
game is over, you love him again.
Yep. Yep. And nothing but a class act. I'm not going to get on him about, I guess, about the play where in Arizona when he jogged off the field. Who knows what happened on that play? I'm not going to get on him on the last play of the playoff or the last offensive possession of the Bears where, you know, miscommunication. Shit happens. Shit happens. So, I mean, DJ Moore, I wish you luck. Go catch 100 balls, go make the Pro Bowl, and to see what the Bears do with this cap space and all the rest of these assets that they have to make their team better.
It's a thank you for your service. Enjoy the next team you're going to play for because, I mean, shit, playing for Josh Allen isn't too bad.
No, no, and plus he's going to the offensive coordinator that he has success with, or he was with Carolina. So
Yeah,
that there's some things that are familiar to him there. So I mean, go and be go and be good.
it'll be it'll be it'll be interesting to see how he does up in Buffalo, but I think he'll still be fantastic.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Got anything else?
The Tremaine Edmunds release,
Mm-hmm.
obviously total just cap dump. Um, it's really unfortunate that he hasn't necessarily lived up to the contract that we gave him because there were flashes every single year that he was on the team that he could be that incredible interior offense or interior linebacker, but he best ability is availability, and he just wasn't available very much.
Well, between that and the fact that I don't think he was a fit for Allen's defense, um, he was brought here to be that Brian Urlacher linebacker in the and Matt Eberflus's cover two scheme. So,
And he wasn't even that. TJ Edwards pretty much took that over.
yeah, well, that too, and the fact that I think TJ Edwards was more of the Briggs, and TJ Edwards is also a guy that's hurt. That's why I said they need linebackers. They need
They're going
linebackers.
to
They
need
need
linebackers.
safeties. Right? All five safeties that was on the active roster last year are free agents.
I can can almost I don't see a scenario where someone like Jaquan Brisker goes somewhere else. I think we end up re-signing him. Um,
Him, well, you can't pay both him and Byard.
you take the younger guy. It's just it honestly, I hate to say it like that, but it's simple as that. You take the younger guy.
The only thing is that
Best ability is availability, and he
yeah, and
hardly played last year.
who Brisker?
Yeah.
No, that was Gordon. Gordon hardly played last year. Brisker played every game last year.
Oh no, sorry, it was the year before with
Year
the
before,
concussion.
yep, year before that, yeah, he played every game. I think except for 3 or 4. But yeah, I mean, I think Brisker might not be around. They'll bring back Kevin Byard and they'll draft a safety.
The only reason why I do think that they'll keep Brisker is because even though uh, he's had his some of his best years, he is 33, and you're hitting mid 30s as a safety. That always just gets scary.
That's why you draft multiple safeties,
That's true.
multiple, or you get one in free agency too. That's a little cheaper.
I'm gonna have to relook at the free agency market to see what's available.
Well, the Bears got 5 of them. Yeah, Bears got 5 of them, and then like I said, linebacker for me is going to be one that's going to be interesting to look at. And then you have left tackle. Then you have all these other positions that you got to fill.
And
So
like a third, fourth corner.
I mean, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, um,
And I think that's about it.
Kyler Gordon. That they get I think Trey Smith back. I think that's his name, the corner that they drafted in the 7th round.
Do you shell out the money to re-sign CJGJ?
If he wants to come back, sure. I mean that's a guy that could play some safety too. He played safety before he moved to nickel corner.
Yes, that's
Terrell
that.
Smith, that's his name. Terrell Smith.
Terrell Smith. Yes, because like Nashawn Wright, he's not. He's gonna go.
Oh,
He's gonna go get paid somewhere else.
as he should. Go get paid.
I enjoy it. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to give out any credible money for Nashawn Wright. I love what he did last year, but when you really break it down, he got lucky on some jump balls because they thought it was a good idea to throw a jump ball to a 6'4" corner. No, in coverage, in coverage, he's kind of burnt toast. He's not the greatest coverage corner,
No.
especially
No.
man to man. The only time he really was able to make a difference, make an impact is on go balls, and he was able to get up there, get a pick, get a swat. Um, he's physical, but not the physicality that you really want. Um, and again, a 6'4" corner, so he's sitting around what 205, 210. Guy was a twig, unfortunately. If he got hit hard, he was down for a bit.
Yeah.
You saw it towards the end of last season. He's gonna go. Um, Jesus. Now that I'm actually starting to talk about it, there is quite a bit of holes.
See, and that's what I'm saying, that that's why sometimes it doesn't make sense to make the big splash, because unless you're going to do it and say damn the rest of the things that we need, or just sign players to vet minimum deals.
And again, it goes back to like we said, it just depends on what they feel is the most important going into next season.
I think right now getting that center is going to be important, and then they'll I think that's it. That they go get the center.
I think that is very big on that priority list, but I don't. I still I still don't think the priority is going to be Tyler Lindenbaum.
And you may be right about that. I just don't think they'll do both. It's either one or the other. Go get Landenbaum or go trade for Max Crosby.
They would do Lindenbaum be for simply for the fact that they could be gun shy. They went out and paid the number one center last year, and he retired after a year. So if they're gun shy about it, I could see that. Uh, you know, go get the other Tyler, Connor McGovern, look in the draft. You could do, you could obviously do so much around that. And I don't think it's going to happen anymore. Like I've been saying the whole time, I, I'm about 30-70 on them getting Max Crosby at this point. But again, if they do, I will get very excited.
Oh, we all will. We all will. I mean, I'll be the one that's going to sit up here and say, "Hey, they're going to win multiple Super Bowls if they get Max Crosby."
I will be writing checks that I'm not sure if my ass can cash. So I will be talking the most shit, but I I will see it when we see it. If
Oh
it
yeah.
doesn't happen, and if it doesn't happen, there is a part of me that will actually be a little disappointed. But all in due time.
Oh yeah.
All
All
in
the
due
dudes.
time.
Yeah. Free agency will start next Wednesday, I believe. Um, we'll kind of go from there. The legal tampering period starts next Wednesday. So
And that's when it starts to get really fun.
let me just make sure legal tampering period. Yeah, I think it's next.
Yeah, because you were right. It typically always starts on a Wednesday, and then they have
Actually,
actual.
the legal tampering period starts Monday,
Oh, so
and
then free agency starts Wednesday.
yes, so you could actually start signing players Monday.
Oh,
But it,
so this is a lot closer than originally thought.
yeah, they could start signing players or at least agree to terms with players on the ninth, and then the new league year starts that Wednesday.
Well, never mind. It looks like we will have some fun beginning of next week.
Yeah, or I mean, there'll be some news this weekend. Because I mean, there's people that they can sign now because they were cut. You know, prior to
Prior to the
start
start
of
of the new
yeah,
year.
yeah. So
Well, like I said, we'll just have to see.
no worries. Anything else?
Uh, no, I got nothing. It's just we'll have to see, and we're gonna be there to talk about it all.
Yeah, no worries. Well, that's all I got. Once again, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit later.
See ya.